Well, hello there, and this is Auntie, and I am here to do my review on the Family Chantel Season 1, Episode 2, How to Come to America. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining the family. And to all of my nieces and nephews who have been here with your auntie for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. Y'all, were all our questions answered in this episode? Wow. If I had to rate this episode, I would rate it a B minus. Yes, I would. Let's get into it. We open up this week's episode with Pedro. Pedro has decided that he's going to go and see the lawyer. He's going to go and see the lawyer because he wants to bring his mother and his sister to the United States. Okay, so let me see. It looks like you all do not have the ability to chat. There you go. So you do have the ability to chat. Thank you, Tiffany. Garrett, new subscriber here. Love your reviews, Auntie. Thank you so much, Tiffany, and thank you so much for joining the family. Appreciate it. Just had to make sure you all had the ability to chat. I didn't see any chats coming up, and so I get a little concerned, for, everybody, because I know y'all like to chitty chat, okay? But anyway, so Pedro has decided that he wants to bring his mother and his sister to America. Ain't nobody shocked by it. I'm certainly not shocked. This is just a confirmation of everything that the family Chantel, Karen, and Thomas have suspected the whole entire time. Y'all, I was so cotton freaking disappointed with finding out that what Obed said and what Mama Karen has said, that Pedro seems to be falling right into that, and so is his family. Like, seriously. So Pedro's in a lawyer's office, and he says, I would like to know what I need to do in order to get my mom and my sister here from the DR. And so the lawyer tells him, well, you could sponsor them over here if you were an American citizen. But Pedro, because you're not an American citizen, you have two more years that you have to wait for that. You can't sponsor them over here. But there is a clause that if you're married, then you can have your spouse to go to the meeting, and you all have to prove that you have a viable marriage. And there's some other paperwork that you all have to do. And then you can, have your wife sign for them to come over. And so Pedro's devastated. He tells her, I'm a little afraid because I don't know if my wife is going to go to this meeting with me. Because Chantel feels like the family has never treated her right, never respected her. And Chantel, according to Pedro, hates his mother and his sister. And so Pedro is now in a dilemma. So he goes on to ask her, how much is it going to cost? Basically, for him to bring his mother over here, it's going to cost him $7,000, and it's going to take about 2 years in order for them to come over. His sister is going to be an additional $2,500. So you're looking at, with fees and all that kind of stuff, Pedro's going to be paying about $10,000 to bring his mother and his sister over here. He says that Chantel doesn't like the way, like him to spend his money on his family. But at this point, it really doesn't make a difference. Pedro is dead set on bringing them here to the United States with him. And I'm just really feeling some kind of way. Like, Auntie is truly feeling some kind of way. Like, I really am feeling some kind of way. Because I really truly believe, or it appears from the editing, it could just be editing, but from the editing, it just appears that this really was a scam. And the unfortunate thing about it is that the family wants to have this counseling session. So we see, last week we saw them when they were talking to Bishop Watson, and Bishop Watson suggested that they do family counseling. So they decide that they're going to do family counseling and everything. And they decide they're going to do family counseling. So Daddy Thomas is out the house. He says that his wife wants a koi pod. So he's pulling up bricks like right up underneath the deck. Now, who will build a pond under their deck? I don't know. But nevertheless, River gets there and he's helping his dad with the labor of building this pod. And so, Pedro goes on. Thomas is trying to convince not Pedro, River, why River should do this counseling session. He says that, when people try to do good or people, make the attempt to do good, that good things happen to them. And that's true. But River really believes that this is a waste of time. And I have to agree with River. It is a total waste of time. And when I tell y'all what happened at the counseling session, you're going to agree with your auntie. So he's going back and forth with River about why he thinks it's important. And River's like, I have to make a decision on whether or not I'm going to go to this counseling session with the fam. The next thing we see is Pedro making a phone call to his mother and his sister. His mom picks up the FaceTime because he has to tell them now what the attorney said. So his mom picks up the FaceTime, and of course Nicole slides her ugly. That's one ugly girl. And it's not that she is ugly on the outside. She's so ugly and evil on the inside that I can't rock with her. I can't lean with her like I don't like her. So anyway, she decides that he's going to tell them, what the lawyer said. He goes on to tell them that it's going to take longer than he thought it was. It's going to be more expensive than what he thought it was. He says that, he can't bring them over as quickly as they thought that he could. And so the mother just reacts. Like the mother starts screaming, "You can't leave me here. You can't leave me here." I'm saying, what? Pedro said, "Mom, Chantel is going to have to sponsor this and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop." And she's like, "You got to make more of an effort." Pedro's like, "I can't make more of an effort. These are the American rules. These are the rules for coming to America." So they had already planned this thing out, y'all. That Pedro was going to come here, marry Chantel, okay? Get his U.S. citizenship and then bring them over here. The mother said that there is a saying in the DR that unless you have seen the United States, that you will die blind. She talks about her coming over here and being able to shop and see the big cities, and Nicole coming over and being able to get an education and to live a better life. So is this not what Obed was saying? Like, I was devastated. I don't care how much I want to laugh and all of that. I was devastated by this episode because it really showed that the family Chantel was correct the whole time about Pedro's motives, in my opinion, for being here. It looked like to me, okay, to Auntie, that Pedro and his mom and his sister had a master plan the whole entire time. And that was to get their foot in the door of the United States of America. The mother is mad. Nicole is mad. And now they want to blame Chantel. Well, no, if it says that you have to wait, if he's not a citizen, so he can't bring them somewhere where where he doesn't live, where he's not. I'm trying not to get emotional about it. Because the family Chantel, they all go to counseling. The first one that gets there is Winter. She meets up with the doctor who's going to be, or the whoever he is, the counselor. Then Pedro and Chantel get there. Mama Karen and Thomas come in, and then River. He asks everybody to, they're sitting in a semicircle. And he asks everybody to take their shoes off. Because he says, frequencies. We need to all be on common grounds. And so they all take their shoes off. And then he starts rearranging how they're sitting. I noticed when Pedro came in, he didn't even speak to Winter. He is a rude mother, straight up and down. There's nothing polite about Pedro. He is narcissistic. He is self-centered. And this mofo got a dream. He has a plan. And I don't like it at all. Chantel is so busy trying to be right. So busy trying to be right that she doesn't even see that this mofo is using her. He's using her. And every time someone says something to her about it, she wants to toss her eyes up in the sky. Chantel, at this point, this isn't even about you. It's not about you. Because you got bamboozled doesn't take your beauty away. It doesn't take your self-worth away. You just got to dust yourself off, divorce this mofo, and try again. But she wants so badly for her parents to be wrong, for Obed to be wrong, that she's going to mess around and let this mofo get his citizenship, and he going to bring these two witches of Eastwick over here with him. They don't deserve, in my opinion, to come here. They don't deserve it. These are the nastiest, most... So they sit down with the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, I got a little green ball. The only person who can speak is the person who has the green ball in their hand. He said, who wants to go first? Chantel goes first. She says that she can't understand why her family was interested in Pedro, but Pedro's family was not interested in her. Then Pedro asks for the ball, and it goes to Pedro, and Pedro says, when their family came to the DR, we drove 7 miles outside of the DR to go and see my grandparents. Her family wouldn't even get out of the van. They thought because they had machetes that they were the militia. River gets the ball next, and he asks, why are you mad at me? I didn't do anything. Why did we fight? When River came into the room for the counseling session, Pedro gritted that mofo up and down. He never took his eyes off of him. I don't know if he was in fear that River was going to do something and a fight was going to break out, or what it was. But I absolutely was just feeling some kind of way. The Reverend asked the parents, do you all want this marriage? Do you agree with this marriage? Mama Karen says, I would like to support this marriage, but I believe that it was done under false pretense. I believe that it was done with some type of arrangement for repayment, something. Did they barter for this? Was goods and services promised? What was promised to Chantel? Or what was promised to Pedro? And for the first time, I didn't think Mama Chantel was a fool. For the first time, I took her seriously. Because the way that Pedro is setting this up, y'all, he sits there and tells Chantel that he loves her. He cares about her. And the reason why he married her was because he loved her. Then he says, I want you to be my dad. And he says to River, I want you to be my brother. But y'all not my family. It'll never be that way. And that's why I've made a decision to bring my mother and my sister here. Chantel is angry because Pedro never talked to her about this, but decided to say it in front of the family. When the conversation came up about the fight, and the doctor or the clinician asked him, what happened? He said, I said, be quiet. He said, who did you say it to? He said, I was talking to the parents. He said, well, can you be a man and apologize? Pedro said, I ain't doing that. But yet and still he wants Chantel to care about his family. And now I see why. He wants them to care about his family because he has an agenda. His agenda is to bring his family to the United States. The mother and the sister later on have a conversation where the mother is like, when you make a plan, when you got something that you need to do, sometimes you got to step down and be a little lower for a while until you get what you get. Until you get that thing hoped for. She said you got to step down and basically be a doormat for a little bit in order to get it. And she's got hope beyond hope. Prayers beyond prayers. Faith the size of a mustard seed. That she's going to bring her ass over here. And because Chantel is so stubborn and doesn't want to listen, it just might happen. It just might happen. It just might happen. She don't want to listen. At the end of the day, the counseling session was nothing. Nothing came out of it. Because Pedro wasn't willing to bend or break. He knows that he can't bring his sister and his mother here without Chantel. But yet he antagonizes her and acts as if he can. This is my apartment. I get to do what I want. No, that's not what the lawyer said. But see, Chantel now is so busy being in her sister's business that she's going to neglect the fact that months are going by and this mofo is clocking down the months till he becomes a U.S. citizen and he can bring his own family over here. And he will have no need for her anymore. Like the mother said, she can pack her bags. The sister, Nicole, said, I can't wait till the day that you divorce her. Y'all, these mofos seem to have... I can't. I can't. I can't. So anyway, Pedro, no, Winter is going out with her boyfriend John. She said that her and John needed to do something in order to spice their relationship up. So they go out and sip and paint. So they sipping and painting and talking about the family and all of that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, okay, they sipping and painting, they doing what they do with the whoop whoop and the boop boop boop. So while they're sipping and painting, they're starting to talk about the family. And he was saying that because of all of the stuff, the tasers and all the things that have come, that have happened with Pedro, he has made it difficult for them to be in a relationship with one another. BS. That's some bull crap. So they ask him, the producers ask him, do you and Winter have an open and honest relationship? He says, there's something I need to tell her. And I hope I can tell her before her family finds out about it. 5 years. And this mofo got a secret? You mean to tell me that you couldn't tell me whatever they gonna find out? You couldn't say that on year 3? How about year 4? And sometimes as heavy women, we compromise. Now that ain't to say that Jaw isn't good looking. And that's not to say that Jaw doesn't have something going for himself. But after 5 years, I should know you. And I shouldn't have to be spicing nothing up. We don't live together. We live separate from each other. It should be hot every time I see you. Now, I know that the relationship, long-term relationship, goes through its bumps and its bruises. I understand that. But something's the hell wrong when you don't know who this mofo is and he got a secret after 5 years. Chantel's riding home in the car with Pedro. She decided that she wasn't going to say anything about his mother and them coming here, until this day. So she said something to Pedro about it. Why didn't you say anything to me about your mother and your sister coming here? Why would you do it in front of my family? Pedro said it ain't a big deal. You went silent and you didn't want to say anything. So now it's a big deal. So she's like, I just want somebody to be open and honest with me for once. I don't want your mother and your sister here. And they're not going to live with me. And Pedro is being so manipulative that he's playing the game as if he doesn't need Chantel. Because like I said, Chantel got to be right. She hasn't done her own research. Bitch, do your own research. As you all can see, I'm on edge. And usually I'm not on edge. I can laugh myself through the best of these mofos. But to see this bothered me. It bothered me because we thought Mom Karen was a fool. A lot of us did. I got to raise my hand and say I did too. But now to find out that she wasn't as crazy as I thought she was is quite devastating to your auntie. So I barely made it through this review because I'm feeling some kind of way. And I'm hoping that next week we can get back to the lighthearted drama of it all. But Pedro and his mother and his sister, I don't have any respect for them. Like, I really don't. We are in some hard times here in the United States. And the last thing we need is these two nasty ass women and their nasty son to become part of. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to come back out in about, I guess, about 15, 20 minutes, and just kind of chit chat with you all. I don't do that much on this channel, but I wanted to take some time and talk to you all just about me and about my upcoming birthday. I love you all to pieces. Thank you all so much for being here. Bye.